And our second resolution is recommending 20 additional shade and ornamental trees be purchased from Leffer Landscaping Nursing Incorporated Fall City Tree Program at an additional cost of $4,772 for the downtown tree replacement. And we do have a request to speak on this.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman.
I move we allow the speaker to speak.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. I will now hear from Mr. Brett Austin. Mr. Austin, if you could state your name for the record, and I'll remind you of 5 minutes.
Thanks. Brett Austin, 214 North 6th Street, Quincy, Illinois. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but I just had a couple comments on the tree replacements. As the Finance Committee took up, there's a request for 20 extra trees in terms of the street replacement program. It was discussed that they would be replaced in the parking lots at no charge, and that additional trees would be available at $40 per tree to encourage store owners and other people to invest in the program. Unfortunately, we've kind of been down that road before with our Adopt a Planner program and some other things, and we don't respectfully, we don't feel that that's probably going to happen because of a couple different reasons. The trees are not necessarily like a residential area where it's designated one owner. We have business turnover, we have building owner turnover. Getting that kind of investment over the longevity of a tree life really just doesn't happen. So I respect and understand the idea, but we have been down this road a couple of times, and it really hasn't worked out that way. And finally, some of the businesses just lack the time and the resources to go out and water a tree from their storefront. So to that end, we do feel like we're a partner in this. We do want to participate. As representing the district, we do have board approval. We will come up with the funds to sponsor the extra trees. We want that to happen. In consideration of that, we'll do it regardless. This is not a tie to the money that I'm suggesting we'll give. But we would ask for consideration of a couple of things that have come up over time. We'd like to ask to be involved in the discussion of the tree types that are picked and where they're located. We do have a couple of people on our board that are have a horticulture degree, arborist type background. We've had some problems before with the wrong type of tree being in front of storefronts, things being tracked in like crab apples and stuff like that. We do want to be involved in the discussion. We will support it. I also wanted to point out that this is about half of the trees that are dead in the downtown, because this is something that has evolved over about 3 years. And lastly, I want to encourage the city to get back to a discussion of how we're going to maintain these trees over the longevity of it. We have some ideas about that. We also would like to participate in that because this is critical to our overall design plan in the district, and we feel it's an important part of it, just like streets, curbs, driveways, whatever. The trees are there to stay, and they're part of the overall look. So we wanted to pledge our support that we will be involved, and if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to entertain those.
Any questions? Alderwoman?
I do, yes. The Historic Quincy Business District, were they the ones that went around and watered all the planters this summer?
What happened was, starting last year, a 4-year grant was approved for downtown beautification program. The reason I'm the one here speaking is because basically that contract flowed through to my property company and some of my maintenance crew doing that, along with a couple other partners in cleanup and weeding. And so I helped the district oversee that program. You paid the district paid me some portion of that money. And then, yes, we essentially did tree watering as much as we could. Our fear is that if we say yes to that we're kind of moving the goalposts each time, and we don't have the resources to be doing this all the time. We'll certainly assist. We did water all the planters. We did as much weeding as we could. We did facilitate the map that was given to the city about where these locations are, what order of priority we thought they might go in, and we recognize that all this can't be done in 1 year. We just want to keep progressing and getting back to where this is a vibrant part of our downtown look. So we will participate, but we need to be partners in it. We don't have the resources to do this all ourselves.
Any additional questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Alderman Brink.
Is purchasing these trees a little premature when we don't have a maintenance program already in place? We're going to plant trees. We don't have a program to water them. Why are we planting them?
Well, interesting question. But, some of these trees are just replacements of things that are natural loss, and that's going to happen. There's going to be a portion of this that's natural loss. There was a portion of it that was probably just not great practices in planning it in some cases. And we had 2 years worth of drought and then a really, critical winter that zapped a bunch of trees. So this has happened over time. It isn't just that we can't, I just wanted to be clear, it's not just like 1 year we couldn't take care of it or something like this. This was a lot of variables that came up. We've been asking for this for a long time. To your direct point, I feel like there's things that we can do to help assist in that program, and I mean immediately, like this fall and going into next spring. I also think that I heard from the Finance Committee that one important step would be taken, which the nursery would be in charge of planting these trees, and that there would be a one-season guarantee that they'd bud in the spring. If we can get that to be part of the discussion, then we can bring some resources in to try and help with that too. All that being said, the city has to participate in this too, whether that's through finding us partners with the SWAP program or whatever. We do need to be partners on this, and we have a lot of ideas to do that. So I don't want to miss an opportunity when this is a planting season, because then we're going to push it off one more year, and then we're going to have 60 trees to, it's just, well, we won't have 60, but natural loss in this downtown is we're going to have 7 or 8 every year, no doubt. It's just the odds of it, and they're small trees. So we need to have some kind of systematic plan to address that. But I don't want to miss an opportunity, or our organization doesn't want to miss an opportunity to take care of that and at least do part of this. And I do think we have some options right now on the table that we can help.
Alderman Havermill.
Mr. Austin, so really you're not asking us to change what's being proposed here. You're just saying that the district will participate financially with purchasing the trees from the program that we've outlined.
We will. And I also want to make an important distinction. I'm not tying the money to what we'll do. We're going to do it regardless.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is the way we've set this up is those trees would be just like if I came in to purchase a tree
Yes.
as a resident. In essence, you're taking place of the resident the way it's set up, but you would do that anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
For the reason stated that I don't believe that individual businesses will step up, not because they don't care, but just because it's a different atmosphere than if you're talking about single-family residences.
I just want to clarify that.
Alderman Farha, did you?
No.
Okay, Alderman Mussolino.
I guess one of your key points there that I would like to speak on from the city side of things, when you talk about they simply don't have the resources to go out and maintain things, right now in our central services, we simply don't have the resources also. I mean, when we pull people off of a sidewalk crew to go and water and plant trees and things, we have a backlog on trees that need to come down all over the city, not just downtown. It's something that, their resources are hard to find when it comes to maintaining trees, and that's from our side also. And when we got to pull people off of a productive project somewhere to come down and water trees and things like that, I guess I got a problem with that. And then after the fiasco we had with the parking lot, where we have all these trees that were planted last year and they're all dead, it's hard for me to swallow that we're going to invest a whole bunch with resources. So that's my point.
Any additional comments?
Yeah.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that essentially what you've got here, if you look at it in raw terms, is you're subcontracting workout. I understand you don't have the resources. You're subcontracting planning. You're subcontracting people caring for them. You're subcontracting watering. I'm trying to come to a middle position that we will be there in the discussion, but we want to be part of the discussion too. The reason the trees in the parking lot specifically, that as a batch, that was poor planning practices, and so if you if you really look at it, that really wasn't the district's responsibility. That was that was just something that unfortunately occurred, and now we need to solve that situation. And I think the two best things I heard out of this discussion were that you'd have somebody that was a qualified nursery planning that will reduce the time involved in central services having to even go out and do these things. And then what we're back to as a discussion is just how do we come together for the watering.
Okay, if I could,
Alderman Farha.
Mayor, this was before the Finance Committee. I'm not sure how many people were really present. It got to be quite a controversial topic, and it's really been not just in the Finance Committee in terms of the downtown, but in terms of the death we've had in the residential tree program. We did institute a policy through the process of the bidding that now requires a guarantee from the winning bidder that the trees last one winter season. We have had a lot of concern about the watering. Over the last 5 or 6 years, the city has consistently moved away from watering the trees and placing that responsibility on the resident. What happened in finance, there was a great deal of concern as to why the trees died. It seemed to be the perception, at least of the planning department, that many of the trees had died from lack of watering and from drought. I think the compromise that was struck in the finance committee was that the city will go ahead and pay and maintain the parking lot trees, which amount to 5 or 6 trees roughly of the 20. The additional trees we would offer out of that to the downtown businesses at the same process, same basic subsidy. And I want to make that clear. We are a stakeholder because we're selling the downtown businesses trees for $40 that we pay roughly $300 for. So we are making a contribution. Part of the reason we did that, I think, and part of the reason, and I'll let the rest of the committee members speak, was to get the business owners where the trees are placed to take an interest in watering the trees and maintaining it. Not to put additional work on the historic business district if they don't want to take it, but to get them to. And I think that's a key. Now, as far as the money for this is coming from the Ameren Right Tree, Right Location program. Ameren, the money's being used from that. So I think that gives you a rough idea of what's occurring here. But I don't want anybody to walk away and say, oh, well, you know, these guys are just spending more money foolishly on trees. We want people to have a stake in it. Now, I understand what you're saying, but I think fully you recognize, and I think that's good, that going forward, we can't commit for swap. That's up to Brett Fisher and the county. What we can commit to is the subsidy on the trees, offering the trees at the same price, other than the parking lot trees. The Finance Committee agreed to recommend to the full council that we pay for the parking lot trees replacement. And it is a little disconcerting because the parking lot trees really didn't, you were there, I remember the conversations. We spent a great deal of time discussing this between the Quincy Historic Business District and the Tree Commission as to what tree belonged where. It was very minute. We spent a lot of time on a very hot day.
I remember.
So yeah, and they really didn't make it, and they were almost instantly dead.
Are there any further questions for Mr. Austin, not on this subject? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to resume
So
City
moved.
Council. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Mr.
Your
Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Alderwoman Lepper.
I had a question for yourself or for Mr. Farha. With this funding that we have from Ameren, is that able to be used for our normal Tree City USA purchases, or is there a certain clause in it that says it has to be only used for the downtown area, or?
It could be used anywhere, right? As long as it's a right tree in the right location. Is that correct?
Chuck?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's for any tree planting in the city.
So theoretically, we could use it. We haven't.
Just add that I think the whole idea was to replace trees under power lines, but I think this was the last, Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the last of the money that Ameren has donated to, and that's kind of another reason why we decided to go ahead and use this up for the downtown.
Yes, but we also made application for grant monies through another program, and I think we received 2,000 or 2,500 again just this last year.
Alderman Farha.
And additionally, I think in the past, we have really used this money as to augment the tree commission, $15,000 that we spend on trees every year. And I think one year we did all the trees around as part of an agreement with the Kroc Center, I believe. We had some trouble there too. But is that correct?
That's
I
right.
believe that's correct, yeah.
Alderwoman.
Kind of getting a little premature into this, being that we don't have a watering plan, and that seemed to me that the Historic Quincy Business District only wanted to do some of the watering, of not knowing who's going to take up the watering plan for these trees moving forward.
The problem I've got is they got merchants calling me saying they got dead trees in front of their businesses, and they want to know what the city's going to do about it.
And I'd like to add, though, that as Alderman Farhall said, that's the whole idea of the $40. We wanted the merchants to call and pay $40. $40 is is $40. It's to have the merchants be involved in the program, and if they're willing to call up, pay the $40, we're hoping that they'll take care of the tree.
Any,
Not able, sorry, one more question. Are those not able to be taken out of the original 80 trees that we purchased? Could they not purchase a tree for in front of their business out of those original 80?
I think the original intent, those 80 would be residential trees. That's what the original intent of the program was.
I can answer that too. Alderman Lepper, the tree program is very successful. It's oversubscribed. And unfortunately, on an annual basis, we take down probably roughly any given year 180 to 200 trees. It was originally intended, that money is to help the city maintain the status of a tree city and to encourage residents when we take down a tree to replace the tree. And we try to do that. And of course, we're still guided by the same principles that Ameren would be guided. We don't want to place large oak trees or large maple trees under a power line where in 10 years we're just going to be, either they're going to be butchering it or we're going to be taking it down. So it's all part of the program. And unfortunately, we have 80 trees. Those trees, various varieties, go instantly, and we're always oversubscribed on the program. And it'll last 5 or 6 years.
any further questions, comments? Alderwoman?
So if this is the end of the Ameren money, what do we do after this year when we need trees replaced?
First of all, we're not using all the Ameren money. I think there's about 5,000 left in that account.
Okay, so we're getting towards the end of it.
Right, and if there's an application process opens up again, like last year, we made application to supplement that with another $2,000. So we just, whenever opportunities come up, the tree commission applies for funding for trees.
Okay. My next problem is, I talked to Marty today, and we're 37 trees behind getting trees cut down. Not only in my ward, everybody's ward. So we can't get trees cut down, but we're going to be putting brand new trees up. That's where I have a problem. If our guys can't, and I don't know whose fault it is, I don't know that it's theirs, I just know we're trees behind. If our guys can't get them cut down, who's going to be maintaining the new ones that we're putting out? That's why I think it's premature to do this.
Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mann.
No.
Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook. Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Stassen.
Aye.
Rhine. Lepper.
No.
Mussolino.
No.
Brink.
No.
Heineke.
No.
Oslog.
Aye.
8 ayes, 5 noes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.